Welcome back to Miss and the Mrs. I'm Shatara.
I'm Elise. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe below.
Today we will be talking about the novel coronavirus, which is also known as COVID-19. And we are in, what, month 3? Going on it?
No, March, April, May, June.
Oh, we're going into month 4. Wow. Oh, wow, I didn't even realize that.
It's been so long.
Do you remember us getting the news about it and the severity of it?
Yeah, so, I mean, before I realized how serious it was, I had known about it for maybe a week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when it was like an issue for the U.S.
Right.
Because we had obviously known about it going on in China. It had been going on for about a week here. And we still were just kind of living our everyday lives. And even the Friday when the announcement was made at my job that we weren't going to be allowed in the building anymore, we were out.
Yeah, I was
like we had all took the day off to just hang out,
have a friend's day.
Yeah.
It was a friend's day. We were taking a mental health day.
Yes,
just from a busy work.
Yeah,
couple months.
Just like chill. It had nothing to do with the coronavirus.
Right.
We
were out shopping.
We
went to breakfast.
Had an amazing breakfast.
Yeah.
Went shopping, just out. And then I got a message from my coworker who was like, check your email. You got to fill out this survey because we won't be able to come back into the building after Monday morning. And I was like, what? I was like, well, why? And she was like, because of the coronavirus. And then she was like, we can't be in the building anymore. And we're going to work from home until whenever, you know. And at that point, it was like 2 weeks or something. So Monday morning, I go into the office to get things that I need. Didn't even take everything I need because I was like, 2 weeks. I'll get my computer. I was going to grab another monitor. And then I'm like, I got one at home. So I took a couple files with me of projects I had in the works. But I'm like, the rest, like, I'll leave here and get it off my desk in a couple weeks. Couple weeks roll by. And they're like, okay, another 2 weeks we're going to work from home. And I was like, okay, this was fun at first, but we can go back to work now.
Because your child is home with you all day. Because the schools and everything were closed.
So, I mean, it just, to me, I'm like, okay, this is going to end soon. She's not at school. I'm working, but it's just, but then after that month, work started to get really slow. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, what's happening here? Like, this is becoming really serious. And I mean, school not in, they're not even talking about going back to school at this point.
Right.
And I mean, they're starting to be talk about next school year. And I'm like, we just not gonna finish the school year? Like, what's happening? So it just became really deep. So then maybe a week after that, I got laid off. And that's when it was real to me. And I was like, our business just tanked that quickly that they got rid of our whole team. Like, we're not even needed because the company we work for was tanking so bad that it tanked our work. So that's when I was like, oh,
it's real now.
This is real. Like, and I'm hearing on the news how unemployment is going up, people losing jobs, people being furloughed, all this and that. And my coworker, she was like worried about it. I was like, we'll be fine. It's fine. We'll be fine. All this and that. And then we just weren't. And it was scary. But at the same time, after I got the phone call, I probably cried for like 3 minutes. And then I was like, you know what? If it ain't meant to be, it ain't meant to be. Let me figure out my next steps for me and Bailey. And I got to just keep moving. Like, I can't sit here and be sad and crying, because then it started to sink into me. Like, right before that phone call, I was working on a huge project, like a nationwide project. And y'all just let me go? Why do I care so much? Like, why am I so hurt by this? Because you're not. You're going to continue on and move on. So let me do what I need to do to move on for whatever me and Bailey's next steps are. So Yeah, I think that's when it got real.
And I think it kind of got real for different people at different times, because it didn't get real for me until I had 2 family members have it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, whoa, it's hitting home now. Like, you hear about it and you're like, oh, okay, well, that's just going on over there. Mm-hmm. Or it ain't that bad. Like, I took it really lightly. And I'm glad that, by the grace of God, I'm healthy. But I took it real lightly because it's like, if people would just wash their hands, or if they cover their mouth, we'll be fine. We do all that anyway.
Right.
And then I think, every other Thursday, I go to the grocery store, because I do that every other Thursday.
Right.
That's when I do all our grocery shopping. And I went on my regular Thursday to go to the grocery store, and I couldn't find anything. And I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something? And there really wasn't any toilet paper, no cleaning products. I'm like, I get this stuff all the time. Y'all just now buying this?
Right, right. Me and Lisa was thinking the same thing. Like,
yeah.
We buy all this all the time.
So,
okay.
But I mean, I had stuff here, but but it didn't get real. And I still kind of took it lightly. If it wasn't for my husband, like, really, like, this is serious. Mm-hmm. We, he shut down our house. Mm-hmm. We wasn't going in and out. He immediately, got us some masks. Mm-hmm. Got our parents some masks, made sure our family was taken care of and stuff like that. And he was like, no, this is serious. He was like, people are dying. And in my mind still, I'm like, well, that's over there. It's not happening here. Mm-hmm. And truth be told, it was starting to happen here. And like I said, I didn't take it serious until my aunt and my cousin had it. And then I just immediately, fear just gripped me. And I'm not the type of person to really have anxiety. And I kind of handle stress pretty well, I would think. But I literally had anxiety. For one, I do work from home full time. So, when I get off work, that's my time to go out or run out and do stuff, to get out the house from being home all day. Mm-hmm. And then on the weekends, hang out and go out or whatever. But it came to a point where I couldn't go anywhere. And I felt like I was suffocating. I was like, oh my God, I felt trapped and stuck. And I literally had to pray my way out of that, because I'm like, I cannot anxiety. I don't deal with anxiety a lot, but in the few times that I've had, I knew it's not a place that I could stay. Like, I cannot stay there. So I literally had to pray my way out of that. And then I started doing stuff around the house. Me and my husband, we got into TV shows. I got it back into praying and reading my Bible and all of that stuff. And it, and I'm like, okay. And, then I just started to get strong, Yeah. And then you start hearing about more deaths. And now it's hitting home, because I believe, I don't know how true this is, but I believe from what I've heard around the city and stuff like that, but Waukegan, which is where we are, was the largest city in Lake County that had the most cases.
Wow.
So we had a lot of cases here in Waukegan,
and
we had it quick. Yeah. It happened within like a 2-week time span, and it's just, I was like, okay. And I just really began, everybody was saying read Psalm 91. I've read Psalm 91 a million times before this, but now it's like, okay, God, we need you.
Right.
For our families, our friends, and I'm grateful to be healthy right now, to be sitting before you. I'm grateful that it didn't take my family members out. I did have a distant cousin in the state of Michigan who unfortunately did pass from it. But my heart, goes out to every family member who's dealing with it now, or who has a family member that passed from it. I have been praying like crazy. Even those are in hospitals, just asking God to heal and to give people their strength back. I had one cousin too who had it. She was in the hospital and got sent home. And then because they thought she was fine, and then got it again and had to go back in the hospital. Wow. So this thing is serious, and, I was upset that I took it so lightly in the beginning, but I really can't say anything else but thank God for covering us, because we was, like she said, we were out. That I will never forget. It was Friday, March 14th. Yep. That was the day we took off to just go have like a girls' day with our friends. We'll take time away from work, a mental health day. And I remember we was out shopping, and next everybody's phones just started going off. Text messages coming through, people from work reaching out because we were all off of work.
So we was like, what is going on?
Right. So,
but I think when I got laid off, that's when it really hit me. But I don't think up until that point, I still wasn't afraid. Even being at home with Bailey, I was just like, okay, we can't go nowhere. But I think because my sister works so closely in the like field of all of this happening, she kept us educated. And she, like, can't nobody come in our house. Even when she would come home, she would take her scrubs off, wash her hands, get in the shower, and then she would come, like, talk to us and engage with us. But she would come home, she would be like, no, Bailey, you gotta wait till I take a shower and everything. And so, like, that was concerning, but I don't think I was ever, like, afraid. I think I got more concerned when it got to Waukegan, and Lisa came home like, this thing is blowing up.
It did.
Like, and it just blew up quick. And that's when I think I was like, okay, this is spreading way too fast. And it's because you do not know you have it.
Right.
And you go somewhere else, give it to them. They go somewhere and give it to and so then it just was out of control. And I think that was the shock factor for me. And I was like, oh, we ain't going nowhere.
Shut it down. Because we didn't even see each other for a while.
No, we wouldn't even go over each other's house. Nor we both just stay in the house. But we wouldn't do it.
And so even according to the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control, one of the things they constantly said was anyone can have mild to severe symptoms. It doesn't affect the same person the same way at all.
So different people don't have it the same way.
And then the biggest thing for me was, and this is one area that I got frustrated in once it started blowing up around Waukegan, is because people were still having gatherings or still doing certain things, which, of course we want to be around people, but you don't know if somebody else is a carrier. That person may not even know they're carrying it. You know what I mean? So that's why the quarantine was so important. And as much as we all hated it, we had to do what we had to do.
Right.
I mean, when I tell you my house was shut down, house was shut down from close family just because we knew they were in gatherings. Once they shut the churches down, I knew that
it was done.
Oh my God, like this is really just running rampant. And it was just out of control. But you're right. I mean, and again with our shirts that say Jesus of wisdom is really what people needed. And I think there was so much lacking of people understanding and using wisdom of what to do. I mean, Shatara's house was shut down. Our house was shut down. Me and Shatara both had been in the house. We wouldn't go anywhere. But her husband and my sister both had to still work. So we were like, even though we're not going anywhere, we're not going to risk it. Like, we just can't. But it's just, it was the lack of wisdom with people. Like, that part. Just people thinking that they're exempt. And we are not exempt. And don't get me wrong. Yes, I believe in God. Yes, I believe in Jesus. But I don't want to test them. I don't want to tempt them. We have to use wisdom. I mean, I wanted to be in church. I love to be, congregating with my sisters and brothers in Christ. You know what I mean? And worshiping together. But we have to use wisdom. And some people will be like, well, God got us and God, he does. But we have to use wisdom.
Yes. I mean, I remember even when I had a conversation with my daddy, I was like, I'm not afraid. I was like, I'm covered by the blood of Jesus, but I'm also not going nowhere. So, I mean, that part that people were not understanding. And then it was hard because while I'm an adult and I can understand it and get it, I have a 5-year-old at home who does not understand. I want to go to school. I miss my teacher. I miss my friends. Okay, well, if we going to be at home, can we go to the park? Can we go to Chuck E. Cheese? Can we go to the movies? And it's like, actually, no, we can't. Like, we're literally in this house. We're not going anywhere. Like, I wouldn't even take her to the grocery store. I would wait till Lisa came home. And then it got to the point where I went to the grocery store and spent like $400 because I was like, I'm not coming back. I don't want to touch nothing. I don't want people talking to me, any of that. Like, even before it blew up, me and Bailey was in the grocery store and this lady just walked up to her and was like, oh my God, you are so pretty, all in her face. I was like, please back up. Like, people did not take it seriously. And this was before we was wearing masks and all that. So she just got in my baby's face and I just instantly was like, we're not coming back no, we're not coming back out at all because people crazy.
And they are. But one thing I can say was I really appreciate how the grocery stores handled it. Like one day I went to the grocery store, and that's, when it was still kind of new. The next week going to the grocery store, it was all the markers. They was on it. And I had even went to one grocery store in particular, and it was one person they had specifically to make sure that people were 6 feet apart. And I was like, okay, well, we just really appreciate all of those essential workers.
Absolutely.
Thank you for risking y'all health and y'all lives so that we can make sure that we have what we need. But they did the grocery store, just pretty much wherever I went, because people had to be there. They were nice. They were kind. And people don't have to, everybody could be frustrated, and it's totally understandable.
You're right.
But yeah, the grocery stores really did a good job. And even just being patient when people freaking out, if you are essential worker, thank you.
Thank you, seriously.
Yes.
Because that's tough.
It is tough, because I wouldn't do it. I don't think I would do it.
Like, I was years in retail, and I mean, even before this blew up, I had stopped going to the gym like a week before it was all even announced, because I was like, I don't want to be, I don't know what people doing. I don't know where other people's heads are. But I mean, even being in retail, I literally was like, thank God I am not in retail, because I would not have been able to do it. To be out there still serving people and doing all of that and like attitude. Exchanging money and all. I wouldn't have been able to do it. That would have been really, really hard.
But thank you to doctors, nurses, just if you have to go to work, like my husband, him going down to City Hall still have to be taken care of. Lisa working in the health field, just everybody, every grocery store worker, just everybody, every bus driver, even they have to slow down buses, train, all of that stuff. But thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
So, and one thing I want to say is that, one of my mentors, she always says you have to understand words. Like sometimes when you just be talking, people just be saying all kind of stuff, and you just going with the flow because of the hype attached to it. And so I've always wondered, why did they call it like the novel coronavirus? Like, why novel? And so I'm going to read this to you guys. So according to dictionary.com, because I always looking up stuff, but the word novel, and let me say this first. I'm not big, and I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist or whatever. But you have to understand too, because sometimes I do believe that people can project their fears on you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's why you said you wasn't scared of it, but I was scared because I watched the news 24/7 about it. I was constantly looking on my phone. I was constantly looking on my phone. So yeah, taking in all of that, constantly watching the death toll go up. I mean, that fear just got all over me every time they had an announcement about it. Like, I was tuned in. And the crazy part is, I don't even watch and listen to the news all the time. But so the word novel means a fictitious prose narrative of considerable length and complexity, portraying characters and usually presenting a sequential organization of action and scenes. So the word that stuck out to me was fictitious. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, why are they putting novel in front of the coronavirus? I mean, again, not trying to be a conspiracy theorist and all that stuff, but it's just like, the media has a way of portraying something to be a lot worse than what it is. And don't get me wrong, this is not to make light of any person that has passed away, because we know it's real, but this is how fear can grip our hearts, and fear has a way of talking to your mind. You know what I mean? Fear has a language. You know what I mean? And so, we like to watch My 600-Pound Life.
Yes.
So one time I heard Dr. Now say that the patient was psychosomatic, meaning that she was developing a disorder where fear is causing her sickness.
He say that a lot to these patients because that's what they do. Yeah.
And so when I heard about the novel coronavirus, and then knowing the word novel means fictitious, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, are we being psychosomatic? Now we're thinking it, so we have it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now we're thinking it, so we're inviting that fear on us. And so I really had to be like, you know what? I really don't have to fear this thing. Right. You know what I mean? Yes, use wisdom. Wash my hands like I've been doing. Cover my mouth like I've been doing. And staying away from people. You know what I mean? And like you said, we ain't been nowhere, but yeah, we still have this glass. We still want to, use wisdom. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to let that fear no longer project on me. And, and pray, thank God for my health and strength, but do what I have to do as well.
Right.
You know, so we have to be careful allowing the media to speak louder to us than it should.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that'll have us losing our mind and just
Absolutely.
going crazy, you know?
But look up the facts for yourself.
Yes.
I mean, and honestly, like, this may sound crazy, but a lot of people use social media as their form of getting the news, and that's not it.
No, it's not.
I used to work with a girl who would always be like, I seen this on Facebook. I seen on Facebook. And I'd be like, but did you look this up? Do you watch the news?
Right.
Like, are you getting any kind of facts? You can't just take what you heard somebody, I mean, what you read off somebody's status on Facebook.
And you know what? And with us doing this, as easy as we can edit our videos the way we do, people can edit the news every time they post something.
Absolutely.
They can take out a word, they can rewind it, play it back, put it over on top of stuff. You know, editing is a powerful tool. So you really just want to be careful what you allow into your system, especially if it's bringing fear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that was my thing. I think that's why I wouldn't allow myself to sit there and watch the news day in and day out. I think I would hear something, I would watch the news for a little bit, I would look it up, I would read articles, I would ask Lisa, like, what is the stats? What's the data? Like, what's happening behind this thing? Because she is in the medical field, they got that information.
Yeah.
So I think that's what was helpful. Because I just refuse, because I am the type of person, like, once I let something take over me, I'm on like a downward spiral, and I cannot do that.
Me too. Yeah.
So
that's why I had to get to a point where, like, wait a minute. Like, I literally had to get to a point and was like, wait a minute. Like, I cast my care and I prayed. I remember one time particular, like, God, no matter what we go through, if you don't keep us, we will never be kept.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I literally had to release that. And however you need to get your peace, do it. You know what I mean? Because this fear, and it'll just stop us, and it'll halt us, and it'll it's a word I'm looking for. Just stagnate us in a place where we're just like stuck. And you know, and then there's this other side. Okay, everything is shut down. We decided to then become creative. You know what I mean? So I began to use the time to work for me. You know what I mean? In this season that we're in. Yeah. But
you're right. You can't let fear get a hold of it. I mean, it got to the point where my daughter was like, can we stop using the word coronavirus? Like, she didn't want to hear it. Whether it was on TV, one of us saying it, she was just like, stop. And it came to a point where we was like, you're right. Let's stop bringing life to this in our home. Especially because Lisa have to deal with it all day. I'm sure she doesn't want to come home to this. Like, this was where her peace was supposed to be. So that's exactly what we did.
That's good.
We just stop using the word coronavirus in the house. And I mean, if we had to talk about it, we did. Or if baby was asking to go do something, I had to be like, well, baby, you know we can't. Then she'd be like, because of the virus.
She was fed up. She was fed up. So I just want to say, so even though we're talking about it and the effects that it had on us, we still want you all to be aware that it's still very alive out there. You know, you don't know who's carrying it. And right now, because of the civil unrest that we're living in and all the protests and the kneeling and the, you know, the rioting and looting, all that's going on right now for justice, we just want you all to be careful because you still don't know who's a carrier. And we don't want, you know, we're protesting for a cause, but we don't want someone else to get sick from COVID, you know, and unfortunately, hopefully not, but pass away from it because, you know, we want to protest for this cause. You know what I mean? But yeah, so just the symptoms that are still happening: fever, chills, cough, shortness of breath, any difficulty breathing. And that's another thing. When I began to think about it so much, I found myself becoming short of breath. It just, you know, my mind literally would play tricks on you. When you ponder on something for so long, your mind will tell you that you have something that you don't. You know?
I mean, I woke up one morning like, my throat. Why is it so hard to swallow? And I was like, oh, probably because you slept under this fan on level 5 all night.
Right. Or then when you sneeze, because I have allergies. You know what I mean? So it's like, there were days I had to tell myself, like, I'm not going there, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now, they say go get tested if you feel like you have certain symptoms that are just not normal. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I didn't feel those. But I'm like, I got allergies today. Yeah. I took my allergy pill, and I was fine.
I mean, and unfortunately, this came at a time when allergies were going to rise. Right. But I don't even have seasonal allergies. I have allergies all the time. Do. Like, I take an allergy pill every day, all year. So, it's just, and then it became to the point where you embarrassed, you don't want to cough, you don't want to see. When I was in the nail shop the other day, I had to cough. It was like a little dry spot, and I was sitting there holding it in. My eyes started watering and everything because I did not want to cough in there.
Yeah. I know, it just changed. It literally changed everything. Literally. So, coughing, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, new loss of taste or smell, sore throats, congestion, runny nose, nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. And
you would be surprised how a lot of these symptoms are symptoms to a lot of things.
It really, and I'm glad you said that, because I was gonna say, when they first start shutting everything down for coronavirus, I was like, didn't they say it's just like the flu? The people die from the flu more than this.
Right.
So why are we getting so hyped up over this? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Once again, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. But that was my thinking. That's why I took it so lightly, because I'm like, it was a point in time, me and my husband, we actually looked up the numbers of how many people die from the flu each year. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, this still don't touch this. Why we ain't been talking about them flus? Mm-hmm. But I'm going to leave it alone. But yeah, so it's symptoms. You can have something completely different.
Yeah.
All the symptoms are the same, but if you have that feeling, then you should go get checked. Like, maybe I should just go get checked to be sure, then you should. And I also learned today, if you have a procedure coming up, you have to get a test before getting any type of procedures done. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that's good, because if your lungs, if it's affecting your lungs, you want to make sure that you come out of your operation alive. So they want to make sure that you don't have it.
Good for you and the staff working on you. Yeah. You don't want to be exposing anybody. So I get it.
Yeah. So what do you think the new normal is going to be?
Girl. I don't know. I mean, clearly what we thought was normal before is never again going to be. The way we lived before is never a thing anymore. And
as much as people want it to be, it's not. Like, I'm still going to wear my mask. I'm not going in large gatherings. I don't even know why I may get on a plane again.
I know.
And let me tell y'all something. I had trips planned.
Yes, we
from
did.
The end of March through September.
Yeah, you did.
And I did. And I was and this one kind of did hurt, because me and Alonzo have never been anywhere by ourselves. Ever. And we've been together. We've been married for 9 years, been together almost 14 years. Never been anywhere by ourselves. And we were actually supposed to go on our trip to Myrtle Beach, just the two of us, for about a week, I think it was. At the end of March. And so when all that happened, we both looked at each other, was like, we can't go. We can't do it. And I was really sad about that. I was really looking forward to that getaway. Just both of us coming out of busy seasons with work, him the snow, and then me with, with my job, whatever. I was really looking forward to that time away. And then the next month, that was supposed to be the end of March into April. And then May, we were going to do our girls trip for Memphis.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Memphis in May.
Memphis in May.
We was ready.
Yes.
We bought outfits and everything. I didn't even cancel the reservations till the week before.
Can we still do this a little bit?
I was really holding on hope. But I mean, it was, again, this just shows how much I was thinking this was going to blow over quickly, because when flights, the prices of flights
we were trying to buy flights.
I bought tickets for all, I was ready, buying it. And now I got a bunch of credits.
So then after May, that was in May, and then June we would have left for our annual families trip to Orlando, and that was going to be from end of June into the first week of July. Yeah. And it was credits, and here you go again. And then y'all birthday in August. Yeah. And then Alonzo's birthday in August, and I was thinking about, taking him somewhere and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, you just really feel like you have a plan, and it's just That
again shows that God is in control, y'all. And it is always Lord willing.
Now
that we
I
are
understand
allowed.
that.
Yes.
You know, when you talk, you know, if you talk to your grandmother on the phone and she's like, my grandma says all the time, well, Lord willing, I'll see y'all later this year.
And I feel like we all say it, just
I don't say it though. I never said it. My grandma says it all the time. And I used to hate when she said it. And I'll be like, Mom, I'll see you later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a friend and she says it all the time. And she's about a year older than me. And she says it all the time. I'm like, you sound so old saying that. Why are you saying that? But it really is whatever the Lord's will is.
Yeah.
And we have to be okay with that in this season. Like, and at this point, whose will would you rather have?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, okay, I get it now. Lord, forgive me. Like, it really is Lord willing.
Like, I've always understood it, but I never took it seriously.
Right. I just thought it was something that they say to be saying. I'm like.
But, like, literally, we had our 2020 planned out. And God was like, hold on, let me sit everybody down real quick.
Literally.
Because it's,
You know? I mean, when you start hearing about the NBA not playing any more games, like, all the sports, just everything is just snatched from you, and it's just like, wait, we really don't have control like we think we do.
No, we don't.
You know what I mean? And sometimes we just think we all that, and we have, you know, I'll buy a flight. Let me just, you know, we're nothing without him.
Nope.
Like, really, we're nothing.
I mean, if anything, this really showed us how much control God has, and how much control we do not have. Like life as we knew it just came to a screeching halt.
Yes, absolutely.
Literally, just everything stopped.
Literally, just stopped.
Like, wow, it's crazy.
Yeah,
but I feel like a lot of people learned a lot from this. Like, and I mean, you see the funny memes on Facebook and stuff. Like, I guess now we gonna find out what meetings really could have been emails. Now we know what jobs really could be done from home. You know, but it's funny, but it's like it's scary that going to work was a normal thing to us, but it's like now I don't want to be in a building with a bunch of people. I don't want to sit in this open floor paying with people just everywhere.
It just changed everything.
Everything. So going back to what is the new normal? I don't know.
Well, the new normal for me is wearing masks when I go out.
Absolutely.
Keeping my distance from people. And you know me, like I used to have my game nights. You know, us going out like. I'll eventually, you know, not large crowds, but we'll get that back. But it just will never be the same. You know what I mean?
Like, we used to love to go out to eat.
Yeah. Yep.
All of that. I don't see that happening for me for a while. Like, I will go get something and bring it home. But, I mean, and I made a joke to Lisa one day, like, so I guess all restaurants need to just switch to paper plates because I don't really feel like I'm finna be eating off y'all plates and stuff. Yeah. And I just was like, I don't see that being normal anymore. I don't want to drink off the glasses, any of that. But I think that comes from because we watch Bar Rescue and we know things aren't really washed. They're kind of dipped in hot water.
Right, they're kind of sanitized.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, I don't really want to eat off the plates and with them forks and stuff. So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm never going to go out to eat again. I will, but I'm going to be very conscious of it. And it won't be soon. Getting on a flight. I mean, you know, we love to catch flights. We love to go out of town. I don't know when I'm going to get on a flight again. I was supposed to get on a flight a couple weeks ago to go see my parents, and we ended up driving because I just was like, I'm not ready. And my sister was like, neither am I. I guess we driving. But it's funny because last year we did this, and we drove to Disney World, and when we came back from Disney World, we was like, 2020, we catching flights everywhere. Didn't happen, ain't happening. I will get in my car and I will drive. I can't.
And it's a new perspective too, because it's like, okay, now we're just gonna enjoy. I have gotten to the point where I just want to enjoy company, enjoy my time. Like I'm going somewhere soon, and the person I'm going with, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna really embrace it and just enjoy it because things could be a lot different. That person could not be here. You know what I mean? Like, especially when this person has been around other people and was still doing her thing. But you know what I mean? But people, I mean, you have to, if this don't teach you to just love your people now, to be kind, you know, to watch what you say to people because you don't know if you're going to see them the next time. You know what I mean? Like, if this has taught me nothing, it's really taught me to love.
Yeah.
While, you know, and embrace the time that we have with people, because we really don't know. And again, this has already proven that we have no control. You know, so just literally cherishing the time you have with people, you know?
Yeah.
My perspective has changed a lot. Just even being more patient, you know, and just not letting the little things get to me during this time. You know what I mean? Like, because I would be freaking out, I probably, you know, I would snap on Alonzo and he'll be looking like, and I'll be like, oh, my bad. You know, it's just like, let me calm down, apologize. So I look, all this petty stuff ain't worth it no more. Not. You know, stuff is taking people out like that, you know?
But to pick up off that, I feel like I've always tried to be kind. And again, I think that comes from working in retail and just giving people grace, because you don't know what people are going through. And a lot of people use shopping and retail as therapy. So it's like sometimes we would come into contact with people and I would be like, what you mad at me for? Like, I'm just in here trying to help you. But then I would even tell my team, because I used to work with a lot of teenage girls in retail, and I would be like, y'all, relax, calm down. If you need to take 5 minutes, go to the back. But you don't know what kind of day people are having. And you have to remember, people come to the mall for retail therapy. So, I mean, sometimes the small little kindness we give them can change their day around. But I think what it has taught me is to share those feelings with people and tell my friends, I love you, I'm thinking about you, do you need anything, you know what I'm saying, like stuff like that, and just making sure people know how I feel about them, and I do care about you, and I'm here for you, even if I don't have anything to say, I'm here to listen to you if you need somebody to listen to you. So I think that's kind of what it has brought out of me, is not just helping people know that I care about you and I love you and I'm going to be kind to you, but that you can call me if you need to. So, I mean, I would hope that brought a lot out of a lot of people.
And just letting the petty stuff go. You know, if during this time, like, if it's somebody you need to go back and apologize to, you know, you just cherish people while you have them. You know, and that's the biggest point. To cherish people and to be kind while they're here, you know, and to be grateful.
Absolutely.
To really just be grateful.
And you know, that's something me and Lisa was talking about too when all of this was happening, and we went to the grocery store, and I think we spent like $400 or $500, and I was like, I am so grateful that we can actually go to the store and buy everything we need and not have to go back for a long time. I was like, because there's people out there who can't, and there's people out there who are hurting. There's people stuck in the house with people that they are afraid of. So I was just so grateful for the place that I was in, even though I had been laid off, even though Bailey was getting on every nerves I got. I was grateful that we had a place to be that was warm. We had food. We could, I mean, I was complaining about cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I was thankful that we had something to cook for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because some people didn't. And that's just really, really sad to me. And I think in the beginning, I was not thinking of that, about what other people are dealing with. Like, I'm grateful to be stuck in the house now. Like, other people did not have a house to be stuck in, or a happy house to be stuck in. So,
it's really not as bad. That's what I mean by perspective. Things could always be a lot worse than what they are, you know, and just really just being grateful. Like, once you get yourself together, and like, I had those aha moments, like things could be a lot worse, and they're not even bad, thank you God. You know what I mean? But things could be a lot worse, and just my biggest lesson is just being grateful, and just being grateful for the people that I have in my life, and that they're still here for me to love on, for me to talk to, and for me to, you know, eventually be in their presence. All right, guys. So remember to just wash your hands, sanitize your hands,
wear your mask.
Wear your mask, cover your mouth, clean and disinfect, and take some time to be quiet and just reflect on everything that you do have during this time.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys for joining us. Share this video.
Make sure you subscribe. Share and like.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Be kind. Be kind.